Welcome to another Midweek Madness. This is Patrick, and today we have Tim.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, today I'd like to talk about Tesla's planning another stock split. We have a billionaire tax plan, and Uber is soon to have a San Francisco deal where you can buy a taxi through the Uber app. So let's talk
Hmm.
about that. Did, did you hear about the Tesla stock split today? Or
Absolutely, I did. And everyone who was watching yesterday on
yeah,
Tuesdays with Tim definitely knew that answer too.
yeah. Yeah, so
um,
it's pretty crazy. I mean, like they just do a stock split every couple months or so. It feels like. When was
yeah,
the last
I
one? It was
like
20. It was early
November
2021.
2020.
2020. Okay, yeah, I was thinking it
Yeah,
was early 2021. But yeah,
November 2020. Yeah, it was like just getting into the end of the year, so
yeah,
basically, yeah.
yeah. But I
But
guess it makes sense when
interesting.
their stock price is now at $1,000 again.
Yeah, I know. And what's really interesting is both times they've announced a stock split, they've been doing it kind of like on the heels of another big company also doing their stock split.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be too surprised if they timed it for the same day as the Google split, July 1st.
Yeah, I wonder.
Possible to do. It's still far enough away.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a connection there, like a reason that they would want to, or maybe
Hmm.
just stock splits tend to be easiest to organize around the same times. But I think
Maybe, yeah.
theirs is scheduled to have a vote on it for the annual shareholder meeting, which is usually in the fall. So
Ah, okay.
probably,
So that answers that assumption then.
yeah,
Yeah.
they probably won't do it until later, maybe 2023 even.
Fair. Okay. Still, though, announcing.
Still, I mean,
Good news.
Elon Musk has made bundles of money. And he actually was one of the ones who tried to pay his fair share of
Yeah.
income this year. He paid like one the
He asked Twitter, and Twitter said yes.
yeah, yeah. He paid, I think it was dubbed the largest tax bill ever.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hundreds of millions of dollars in uh, from his income and everything. But what do you think about Joe Biden's new billionaire tax plan? The plan is that for households over $100 million, they have to pay a minimum of 20% in income and unrealized appreciation of capital gains. So even if you haven't sold, you still have to pay taxes on the unrealized. Of course, that's only if you have already over $100 million.
Fair. And honestly, the unrealized gains part may be a little tiny bit over the line, but having a minimum mandatory tax on people making in excess of $100 million a year in household income, finally.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think there definitely should be a minimum. Like if I'm going to be paying 20%, making, $20,000 a year or something,
Hmm.
then someone making 100 million or that has 100 million in the bank
They
should
don't pay
be
anything.
paying at least like as much as I'm paying.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think the thing about unrealized appreciation, I think it gets real hairy because how do you tax somebody on something that they kind of don't have? But I also think it makes sense because there are like a lot of tax loopholes. And without getting into it
Yep.
too much, there's a reason that uh, I think it was Steve Jobs decided he was going to take a salary of $1 and then got everything in tax based or stock based compensation.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to actually have money to, or like sell it to use the money because you can get a loan against your stock price, like your
Hmm.
assets. So, I mean, I think it does kind of make sense. And the fact that they put in a proviso for being able to get then also a tax rebate if it falls, like the next year.
Hmm.
So I think it makes sense in some ways. I think the execution will be kind of difficult, but
It's going to be very important how
yeah,
it's worded because
Right.
some attorney is going to come along and poke a hole in this in 2 months,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
I
going
mean,
to take them 10 years to fix it again. Like, yeah,
yeah. It's pretty hard to keep them from just fucking with the. I think it has to be almost like just plain language where
yeah.
you can't pussyfoot around with it. But ProPublica actually came up with their true tax rate of the 25 richest Americans. The report was
Hmm.
basically about how much their estimated wealth grew versus the taxes they paid. And so Warren Buffett's true tax rate was 0.1%. Jeff Bezos was 0.9%. And Elon Musk, even though he paid all those taxes, 3.27%. So it's interesting. I wish I could pay 0.1% of my taxes. Because right now they take a big old chunk out.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah. I just filed my taxes this year, and Jesus. I
Yeah,
already paid. I pay every single paycheck,
yeah.
and I paid more.
And they're like, not enough. Gotta
Yep.
keep coming with it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, like how much taxes we need. I
Yeah.
mean, it makes sense. I enjoy roads and schools,
I
and
also do, but
stability and everything. But
potholes also suck.
yeah, yeah. But also, why the potholes and why the
Yeah,
constant war? I guess
I know.
Canada doesn't quite have that problem, but
Yeah. Hopefully we don't.
so I think an interesting thing though will be on how it affects the stock market. I mean, if they're
Yeah.
gonna have to pay, I bet there will be more selling. I guess because if they're gonna have to pay taxes on the gains anyway, then you're more likely to sell rather than hold because you have to sell to pay those taxes.
Yeah, very true. Hmm. Come tax season, there's going to be a lot of downward pressure because people want to, I don't know, secure some gains to be able to pay their taxes
Yeah, and I think
on
that
their unrealized gains.
yeah, they're unrealized, which are now realized. I
No,
wonder
which are
how
now
that'll
realized.
work out because do you have to
You
pay?
get double taxed?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the gains that you realize wouldn't be taxed anymore, but do you have to
Would they
pay the
not
twenty
be
percent?
subject to capital gains tax still
Well,
if you made money on the
yeah,
trade?
but they wouldn't be subject to unrealized tax gains. So you have to
True.
pay
Right.
the
True.
you have to pay the realized capital gains tax, which you're selling to pay for your unrealized tax gains. So
Or you just
I guess
go
it's like
through,
almost the
you
same
don't
though,
pay,
twenty
and then
percent.
tell me how much you need me to pay, and then I'll pay it afterwards, and then
Right.
pay tax on that next year.
Yep. I wish we did it
Ugh,
that way.
yeah.
But in other news, Uber actually is suspected to go with a San Francisco taxi deal.
Hmm.
Yeah, you'll be able to soon order a San Francisco taxi through the Uber app. So they're gonna get a little bit more of that, little cut. Got to wet their beak.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea though because like if I wanted to call a taxi right now, I wouldn't know how. I guess I would
Yeah.
just Google it, but I mean, no way I'm gonna do that. Whereas like if they showed me in
Uber's
the app,
already on your phone.
yeah, if they showed me in
Yeah.
the app on Uber and they were like, you can get an Uber in 5 minutes or a taxi in 2 minutes or whatever, or a taxi's cheaper or something, I might be
If
more
it was
likely
the
to do
same
that.
app, which
I think it is. It's just
wasn't
within
okay.
the
Yeah, I was
Uber
gonna say
app.
there was a taxi function on Uber, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they already do it in New York actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so you can get a New York taxi through Uber.
Wow. Cool. Finally,
Yeah,
coming
do
into
it
the
at that.
21st
Yeah,
century.
I mean they
Welcome.
fought it for a while. It's like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. That's the
Yeah, I
classic
guess.
thing, and I mean it just makes sense. Uber is so much more convenient.
Yeah, and speaking of, if you can't beat them, join them. Possibility that Nvidia and Intel are going to team up, have a little bit of a partnership. Intel be the producer, Nvidia being the, like, I don't know, end distributor, I guess.
Now, how
Um,
is that not? Uh,
It's not set in stone yet, but there was a couple of reports on it. Fox News, for lack of a better source, honestly, did have a report on it a couple of days ago. But yeah, I thought it was rather neat. It's jumped up a couple bucks in share price since then, so clearly had some positive impact onto the market.
Nice, yeah. I wonder, like,
Yeah. In
isn't
the
that
end, it's
getting
just going to be
into
a like another contract for Intel to sort of follow through with, right? Like,
right?
it's
Yeah.
just it's weird coming from Nvidia that they're outsourcing their chips.
Well, I think it's probably due to like just like shortages. Maybe they don't have the manufacturing capacity that they want, and so they're
True.
going to outsource some of it to Intel, which hasn't been doing as well.
Yep. Fair. But yeah,
But yeah, I think.
a
Did you have
very
anything else you wanted
interesting
to
bit
talk
of
about?
news. Nothing really. That's pretty much it.
All right. Well, if you wanted to hear about anything, let us know in the comments below. And if you liked it, subscribe, and we'll send you out a notification every time we post an episode. Thank you
Woo.
for tuning in, and come see us again next week for Midweek Madness.
Yeah.